What's going on? Travis here, TravisStelzel.com, TrainAggressive.com, coming to you, just answering another quick question here that I got via email from Peter. And Peter wants to know, is there a specific routine that you can do to specifically warm up for deadlifts? And the question is yes. And before I get into that, just real quick, if you're not properly warming up or doing any sort of like warm-up routine before you train, you are definitely missing the boat, all right? One of the biggest mistakes you can do is walk into the gym and do the old, 5-minute jump rope or 5-minute jog on the treadmill, or worse, just walk up to a bar and start lifting. That's the absolute worst thing you can do, all right? You need to prepare your body for war, all right? You need to properly warm things up, all right? So if you're not doing any type of warm-up, you better start doing it, all right? So what I've done is I've linked up another video of just a sprinter dynamic warm-up. That's one of our go-to warm-ups. It's more general, so it'll hit all kind of different movements overall. It'll get you prepared to train. But more specifically answering this question, what can you do to specifically warm up for deadlifts? And I'll kind of take you through a specific routine here that you can use next time you train deadlifts. All right, so first thing you want to think about is the actual movement that you're going to be doing. So deadlifts, we're right here, extension with the hips, all right? So we want to definitely loosen up the backside, so hamstrings, glutes, low back, upper back. All right, get those hips warmed up a little bit more. So generally what I'll always start out with is some sort of cardio specific movement. So I'm usually doing 3 to 5 minutes. So I might hop on a rower, I might do some jump ropes, a light jog, something like that. Jumping jacks, high knees in place, just something to get your heart rate up, all right, and get the blood flowing through your whole body, all right? Usually about 3 to 5 minutes. Once you get that in, then I'm going to hit some soft tissue work. All right, if you're not doing soft tissue work, again, you're missing the boat. All right, soft tissue, we need to break up those muscles, separate them so they contract better. We're going to get more blood through to those muscles. We're going to help warm them up, and they're just going to help increase your overall mobility, loosening those things up. So one of my favorite tools is the PVC pipe foam roller. All right, I just got a big PVC pipe here about 2 feet long. Can't remember what the diameter is on this, but you can pick this up at your local hardware store. You can also use lacrosse ball. Not sure what happened to my lacrosse ball. It's hanging out over on the other side of the gym. But you can take a lacrosse ball as well, do the same thing. All right, so the areas that we want to focus in on hitting: hamstrings, glutes, low back, upper back. So just a quick run through with these. And you're going to want to spend, anywhere from about 90 seconds to 2 minutes per area. And some areas are going to be a little bit tighter than others. So you'll hit your glutes, your hamstrings. Make sure you get them all. Maybe your IT bands if you're real tight there. Hip flexors, you want to hit those. I'm just going through this stuff real quick. Your adductors would be another good one to hit. All right, but really, any areas that you're really lacking mobility with. So we can hit our lower back here a little bit, mid back, thoracic spine. There's a lot of different things you can do. All right, but that soft tissue work is critical. All right, so you're going to want to spend about 3 to 5 minutes soft tissue work. Once you do that, some specific active kind of dynamic mobility moves that you can do that I would do specifically for deadlifting. First one of my favorites, is going to be a big lunge. All right, big lunge. So what you're going to do is you're going to step out with that front leg. You're going to come inside your front foot here, drop that back leg back, nice and tall. Push this knee out. Now if you're having trouble getting to this position here, so hands inside of that front foot with your hips nice and open, then you got some major mobility issues, all right? You need to get yourself to this point right here. So looking from the side, you should be able to be nice and wide open here, all right? what I'm going to do is grab my front foot, push my front knee out to the outside, and I'm just going to kind of mill around and really push back into my hip. Okay, I want to loosen up that hip joint. Okay, a lot of people, they're going to be gunked up in that hip joint, and kind of milling around and just mobilizing that area is going to help loosen it up. Okay, and we really want to focus in on loosening up those hips, especially for deadlifts, because it's critical in getting into that position. All right, so I'll hit this for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes per side. What I like to do a lot of times is add in kind of an active, dynamic hamstring stretch. Okay, and this is another area a lot of people lack right here. So typically this is what it looks like. You know, people can't even get to here. So you should be able to get yourself to the point where you can straighten this front leg out while grabbing this toe and going through this movement right here. Okay, if you can't, you're obviously having issues with maybe your calves too tight, hamstrings are going to be too tight. More 9 times out of 10, it's always going to be the hamstrings that are extremely tight. Low back's going to be tight. All right, but work on those dynamic mobility movements right there. Okay. Another one that I like to do, and I'll usually get a band, and I'll strap a band up to a rack. I'll have the band here, and I'll do an active dynamic hamstring stretch. So what you're going to do is, like as if I was going to touch my toes, I'll step out about 4 to 5 inches here, and I'm going to reach down. I'm going to hinge at the hips, touch my toe, but I'm not holding a static stretch here. Okay, so I'm going to straighten out my leg. You'll feel that stretch all the way in the calf, hamstrings, depending on how tight you are, but then loosen it up and then stretch it out again. Loosen up, stretch it out, loosen it up, stretch it out. And I got all my weight on my heel, on the front foot here. Okay, you can even step back a little bit more with that other foot. And we're just active, dynamic stretching this hamstring. So we're warming that up. So obviously that's going to be one of the big prime movers with the deadlift. All right, so I'll typically hit a few mobility movements such as that. Another good one that I'll throw in here real quick. So say we're in this big lunge stretch here. I'm going to reach across with this front arm. I'm going to push that knee out. I'm going to reach back. All right, going to get some rotational mobility in here. So as I'm pushing this knee out, I'm reaching up, opening up the chest, reaching back. And you kind of just dynamically mobilize right there. Reach back, loosen it up, and you can even come across the other way. So keep that knee out. You can reach across, put that hand right by that front foot here. You're just, again, you're kind of mobilizing at the hip. Now I'm mobilizing in the core here. Open up that chest, reach back. We're getting that thoracic spine mobility kind of going there a little bit. Another one of my favorite mobility movements right there. Getting ready for the deadlift. Now, after I go through my active dynamic mobility there, then I'm going to hit up a little bit of power. All right, get my body moving a little bit more. So, specifically for the deadlift, I like to hit broad jumps. So with broad jumps, just a quick example here, and you do about 10 to 15 jumps max, just focusing on it being explosive. So I might set up here a broad jump, you're going to swing those arms back, boom, and explode. Obviously you're going to go further than that, but you're going to go for max distance every time. Allow yourself to recover a little bit in between each rep, and again, just 10 to 15 reps. That's going to get your heart rate going a little bit and also get your body moving at full speed, okay? So I like to hit up a few power movements, and I'll just leave you off with this. Another hip opening movement, one of my favorites, is going to be leg swings. Boom. So you can set yourself up on a wall, or if you have a stick like this to balance yourself out, you might do 10 to 15 front to back leg swings, and then you do 10 to 15 side to side leg swings to really just kind of mobilize those hips even more. And what you want to do is again, what we're trying to do is mobilize this position right here. So we're deadlifting, we want to be loosened up in the hips, boom. The better we can get in that starting position, the better that movement's going to be, all right? So that's just an example run through of what I do for specific workouts towards deadlifting. So before I'm, getting prepared, putting on some heavy ass weight on the deadlift, I'm going to put myself through that battle prep routine right there. And like I mentioned at the start of the video, if you're not properly warming up, getting yourself prepared for battle, because that's what training is, right? That's how I look at training. When you go into a training session, it's all out freaking war with the weights, all right? Or if you're just doing body weight, it's freaking war against that training session. So you need to be properly preparing yourself for battle, all right? So hope those tips help you out. Again, those are geared more towards deadlifting specifically, but that can be applied to anything. So I linked up some resources below in regards to properly preparing yourself for battle. I'll tell you what, when you do this, you'll see an increase in your overall performance and your overall results in the end. So here's to preparing for battle, kicking ass, taking names, going 110% ham. Travis, I'm out.